Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is Leanne, Lily Mazaret, coming to you from sunny Florida on this beautiful April morning. Today's topic is the road less traveled in life and business. And I chose this topic for you today, partly because I was inspired on my morning walk. I did already maybe about 4 miles, close to 4 miles today before I got here, and so I'm a little ragged and sweaty. But I took a new path today that I hadn't ever taken before. I mean, it was part of a path, and then there was a split in the road, and I had to decide, do I go this way or not? If I go left, that's what I always have done. If I go right, I might get lost. Or I could have to retrace my steps and come back to where I was, so I might waste a little time. Or I might find something new, or any other option in between. But those were sort of the three, best case, worst case, and middle of the road case. So I went ahead and turned right. And it was really cool because I wasn't too far into my trip when I came across a family of deer. I mean, maybe not 20 yards from me. And I was close enough to stop and snap a picture. And there were more. I saw one, and then I saw another, and I got a picture of the second one. And then as I looked, there were more and more and more in the woods, all just sort of waiting patiently for me to pass by. They didn't flee from me. I mean, I was quiet. I was by myself. I was careful and walking with respect. And just having that energy around me as I traveled through my journey. And the reason I mention all this is because this applies in life or business. You can, be rambunctious and just rush into things and make a lot of noise and stir everything up and create a lot of dust and disrupt everything that was there before you. Or you can creep like a mouse, real stealth mode, just either, I don't know if you're that quiet because you're afraid and you're moving really slowly, or because you're trying to hunt things and you want to, approach them unawares, Or you can just kind of walk like I did with a sense of adventure, a sense of safety, and a sense of respect for the things that are already there. And I think I chose that frame of mind to walk down the path because that's the frame of mind I want to walk down any path in life or in business. And I'm not in conquering mode. I'm not in catch 'em unawares mode. I'm not in kill 'em and eat 'em mode. I'm in share the woods with them, share the roadway mode. And that seemed to work very well for me because not only did I run across this cool family and feel this sense of communion with some wildlife, but I also found a whole new, mile that I can add on to my daily walk now. So I have a whole new loop, and eventually I caught back up to my trail where I would normally have turned left. I made a whole new, U-turn, U-shaped loop, and caught back up with my left turn, but a little further down the road. So it was kind of cool. It wasn't like I felt like I'd wasted time, and it wasn't like I felt like I'd gotten lost. In fact, I felt like I totally benefited from the experience. And the point I'm making here is that sometimes you have to take a new path in order to have a new experience. And was I a little intrepid starting out? Maybe, sure. Was I a little unsure of where I would go? Yeah, of course. Was I able to course correct if I didn't like where it took me, or I felt the hairs on the back of my neck start to rise too much? Yeah, sure, I could backtrack. I wasn't worried about any of that, though, and so I just sort of marched on. But I took points of reference along the way. And I'm using this analogy in an extended way because it applies to your life and your business, especially if you're starting out in business and you don't really know where to go, or you're young in your life and you don't have a lot of reference points. You need to sort of, in French we say faire le point, make the point, take your direction. So kind of like an up periscope movement where you sort of up and you look around and maybe you record where you are so you don't get completely disoriented. And you decide if you want to keep going on this trajectory, this path, this line. Well, I kept going, and I was rewarded, and it was very cool. Now, not every path that I take is going to be successful, but that's not really always the point, you know. The point is to get past your fear and start traveling and just start moving. Especially in business, when you don't always know what to do and you're sort of wanting a slam dunk, or you want to be completely prepared before you try anything or put your first ad together or spend a dime on anything. You know, you want guarantees, you want traffic signals, you want police officers on every corner, you want a convenience store, you want a gas station. You know, and starting a business or starting a marriage or starting a family or anything that you haven't done before is a lot more like walking in the woods than it is like pulling up to a mall with every convenience you could ever want right there at your fingertips. So if you're the sort of person who has a sense of adventure and wants to try new things and wants to stretch yourself and wants independence and wants, you know, freedom and wants to sort of see where you can go with things and the freedom to make your own decisions and make your own mistakes for that matter, you know, this is a good analogy about taking the road less traveled. Because if you do what everybody else does, you're probably going to wind up where everybody else is. If you take that road, you're going to end up in, you know, suburbia or a high rise or, you know, farming. I mean, whatever it is that you're, you know, everybody else does that you know. Point is, it's not like to say change your life and just do something different, like go from being a farmer to go living in a high rise. That's not really what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying mix it up just for the sake of change and variety. What I'm saying is if you want to experience a new adventure, then you have to do something that's different for you, something that's a stretch for you, but also still remains in your realm of comfort and experience, or at least maybe you stay in that realm until you feel comfortable enough in the new world that you're going into. You know, you can move in and out of things. You don't always have to jump in full bore. You don't have to, you know, just sell all your belongings and move into a camper, you know, and travel around the world, or go from a 3,000 square foot 4-bedroom house to a tiny home. You know, but if you want to make these drastic changes, then embrace them too. But just be prepared, if you don't like it, to backtrack your way out of it or course correct. Maybe you want a medium home, not a tiny home, but you still want less than your 3,500 square foot, you know, money pit or whatever. Point is, you have to try something new. You have to take the road less taken, less traveled, and you have to be able to find your wits around you while you're marching down an unknown path. You know, and be aware. I mean, I didn't want a bear jumping out of the woods at me, or, you know, maybe you want to have some defensive things with you if you feel at risk, that much at risk. But I mean, frankly, I'm walking in an undeveloped, you know, a neighborhood with a golf course on one side and a you know, housing development on the other. So it's not exactly like I'm lost in the Rockies or something without a guide. I'm still only 1.5 miles from my house. And the point is that business can be like that too. You can still find a whole new wonderland and wilderness right in your backyard, or inside your computer, or, you know, inside your head and your heart and your spirit. That's all we're talking about, is sort of finding your own frontiers within you and not being afraid to begin a journey down an unknown road. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart, but you don't have to be a full-on warrior and wilderness explorer either. There are some ways you can stay within a community and learn things as you go to a school like I did, you know, whatever. There's stuff you can do to help yourself, but if you don't get out and get on the road and start taking some new turns and walking a different path, you're not going to ever find anything new. That's all I'm saying, and that's my message today. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoy it. I had a great time. meeting that family of deer. I know I'm kind of sweaty and yucky, but hey, this is me today. All right. Lily out. Happy trails.